Who said that to you? Right. Chat invite. Why is it so? Ah, there we go. Try that. It should have fixed it. Well, there we go. Sorry about that, Chief. As Maxwell Smart would say. So, yeah. So Louise and Andy are saying, "Hey, let's all share and like all business pages, you know, Facebook, all of that kind of stuff." Absolutely, let's do that, guys. You know, actually, if I was really cheeky, I'd pull your website up right now, Stephen. We could have
go on then. Go on then. I just don't want it to be about me, you know. Just
yeah, you're right.
But it only went live this morning, literally and 2 hours ago. So
cool. Well, that's good. Adam says call to action looks accurate. Good work. Anna's saying let's see it. All right, let's see if I can.
Thanks, Anna. Appreciate that.
Okay. Nice. I work on computers, so you don't have to. That sounds good. Right. I just wanted to make sure that everybody's seeing. Are they looking from my screen? Are you seeing my presentation, or are you seeing the Steve's website?
Website.
Excellent. Okay. So I work on computers, so you don't have to. That sounds like a good value proposition. Oh, I like the panicking call to action. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, because I wanted something that was different to just contact or something.
Yeah. Call out services. I'd change that to remote call out.
That's in there.
Virtual call out, which you kind of got remote in service. What does remote in service mean?
In other words, you know, remote support.
What do you call that?
Yeah, I'll have a look at that.
Right. So managed services, I think that us in consulting and those people that are in tech know what managed services are because we describe it like that all the time. I think that what people actually are buying when they're buying you is a part-time, you know, as I need an IT manager.
Yeah.
I don't love managed services as a
yeah, and I don't want to hold up
I'd probably say it
the thing is that and I don't want to hold up everybody else on this because we could talk about this in our own session, but the reason why it's called managed services and it's explained is because everybody calls it managed services. So if you talk to any small business owner and they've got any kind of managed service and they're looking to replace it or whatever, then a lot of people know what managed services is.
Yeah.
And that's why I've called it that, because otherwise it looks, you know, people that know what it is look at it and don't really understand.
Yeah.
But anyway, as I said, I don't want to take everyone's time. So, but that's basically the page, and then I've got editing access to it, so we can look at it and then make some changes.
Well, I think you've done I think you've got a good job there. Put SSL on it.
Yeah, okay, and it's not. That's interesting, isn't it?
Oh, hello. Well, hang on. Oh, I see what's going on.
No.
Yeah, so what's going on is that you have something on your server that's not forcing SSL on you've got to redirect waits.biz to go to HTTPS.
Oh, mine does. I've just got on my computer and it did.
Yeah, well, you can see mine. There's something up with that. Or maybe change the homepage link. That's what you've got to do.
Yeah. All right. Anyway.
Anyway, so that's cool.
Yes.
Go back to the presentation. Anybody else got any, you know, positive, nice comments and constructive feedback that's going to make Steve more money? No.
That was easy. Good.
Good. Done. Right. Moving on. So one of the things that we've been doing just recently, and a great initiative that Yvonne took the lead on, so full credit to you, Yvonne, for doing this, is running some seminars for around COVID-19. And so one of the things that's been really good with this is that we've seen a lot of people that have been struggling around COVID-19 and how to manage it, getting some really useful feedback. And I know that Andy and Louise have been in on every one of these. I'm not sure if anybody else had a chance to have a look, but there's been some really good stuff that's been shared there. So there's 4 that I've delivered, but there's actually a heap more that have been put on from Sterling and in conjunction with the Small Business Development Corporation. So there's a bunch there, and there's some more to come. We're just, I think, Yvonne, we're just waiting for a confirmation of the next series. Is that correct?
Yes, it's been confirmed. They're all live for going in for next week. So the whole series is repeating again, starting tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, brilliant. All right. So if you haven't registered, do take a look at those, because there's lots of really good help available there. Louise, you've been along to all of these. What do you think have been a few good things that have come out of it for you?
Hi everyone. Every single one of them has been really valuable in the sense of it's either giving us some ideas on doing something else with regards to business. Really enjoyed the crisis communication one. It helped us draft together our COVID-19 plan to let our customers know and just sort of how to put across to our customers, suppliers, employees, what we were doing surrounding our business and how we were managing our processes. Other things then was just, as I said, just being able to think of ways to collaborate with other businesses and support small business in these times. And then what else? Just to know, I think it was just even the sense of support that through even the chats with everyone, that everyone's going through the same thing, and we're not the only ones. So just in that sense alone, it was good. So I really recommend having a look at them all. If definitely the other one was the cash flow one, and looking at the next few months up to the end of the year, and in terms of how to manage cash flow as well. So really recommend them all.
Great, fantastic, thank you. Glad you've been getting something good out of that. So I'm not sure what everybody's anxiety levels are like at the moment. If you're feeling anxious, and we've got a couple of awesome people as part of our group here. So Anna, as a psychologist, has got incredible experience dealing with people that have experienced trauma all around the world, and Malwena, as a hypnotherapist, is also a lot of the people that come to speak to her are dealing with anxiety. So Anna, could you just give us a little bit about how you're helping people at the moment?
So mostly one of the parts, some part of my business, of course, had to go down, and we are waiting for Medicare to activate numbers for us to still do telehealth. But part of the work that I do is with EAPs, so employee assistance programs. We collaborate with the biggest companies around Australia, some of them that you heard on the news that have been firing people, some more probably to come. And a lot, I do critical incidents and after hour support. So I'm very much called whenever there is a big change, or someone dies or gets hurt on the job. So I've been doing this probably like 15 years now. At this point in time, we've moved faster than the government. So we are all working in isolation for almost 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
Okay. And we have been getting a lot of calls from people that are affected in different ways from this. So the most important message that I want to give to everyone is our reactions are normal. The event is not. Okay,
Yeah.
so no matter what other people say to you, it's okay to get stressed, to get angry, frustrated, short fuse. Everything is a normal reaction to once in a lifetime event. Okay, so this will change a lot of things. It will change our interactions, it changes our future. So it's not normal not to feel affected by this. It's very normal and common to feel affected.
Yeah.
What does it affect? Affect our relationships, affects our ability to sleep, okay? It will eventually affect other areas. So the first step is recognizing that that's what's happening and take care of yourselves. How do you do that? So it's going back to basics. If you think about your senses, smell, taste, touch, sight, what gives you the sensation to go like, this has the ability to relax me? Go and do that now more than ever, okay? If you need help, just give me a call. Just contact me. My email is going around. Don't feel shy to give me a call. I do this day in, day out. And of course, these are uncharted events, and I'm affected too. Okay.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's brilliant. Thanks, Anna. That's awesome. And I know some of Anna's background. I mean, she's dealt with some pretty tricky stuff and tricky situations over the years from, so she really knows what she's doing. Malwena, a little bit about how you're helping people at the moment.
Okay, so do you hear me, by the way?
Yes, we can. If you can probably get a little bit close to your microphone, it might be a little bit clearer.
Okay. For some reason, my camera doesn't work, because I don't know why actually. I have it turned on, but it doesn't seem like it's going to show anyway.
Yeah.
Because you cannot see me, right? At all.
I can't see anybody at the moment. I've just got the fun of Zoom is that sometimes when you're running a presentation, it hides the video panel even when you don't want it to.
Okay, well, that's okay.
Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, so, well, in my case, at the moment, it seems like the business is slowing down. I don't know how much, but it's almost like that problem of coronavirus is taking over everything else. So when people had different problems, they don't go away, but they seem too insignificant to come and bother with them. So if they come for whatever other reason, it ends up actually as work on anxiety, coronavirus related, because they don't know how to act. They don't know if they should wear a mask, if it's safe to go out, are they over exaggerating or not? So there's confusion, a lot of confusion.
Yeah.
But I don't have clients at the moment for any anxiety related with what's going on now. I think usually they're just trying to stay home. So I think I'm going to work on maybe doing some self-hypnosis tracks, maybe doing sessions on Skype or Zoom like we do now. So I'll see how it goes. I still have clients and they are regular ones. Yep. But it does seem like it's going to slow down very, very significantly. It's not totally. So
I reckon there's a huge demand and need. You know, everybody is experiencing anxiety, and particularly older people, you know, with health issues, and, you know, mums with kids. I mean, everybody's got a level of anxiety around this now. The only guy that probably doesn't have any anxiety around it was the guy that was walking across the freeway last night when I was driving back from north, and how he didn't get hit, I don't know, but I mean, he's on something. But I mean, there's, you know, lots of people are dealing with anxiety. So let's just jump back. Donald Trump's not really dealing with it, I think, Yvonne. That's what I would say, and I don't think he's helping. Right, let's just jump back into the thanks Anna Malwena for that. So let's just jump back into the webinar content. So first thing you got to do in terms of reducing anxiety for yourself is get good information and ignore any adjective that's in front of a statistic. So when somebody says scaling, massive spike, all of this kind of stuff, when the change has gone from 120 to 140, yeah, okay, that's a few more, but like ignore the alarmist stuff. So Dr. Norman Swan is putting out some incredible, useful, practical information. If you haven't had a chance to have a look at his stuff, it explains the virus, it explains the actions, and gives you actually some useful information. I think one of the reasons why we've got a lot of anxiety in Australia at the moment, is that you soaring, Andy? If it is, mate, just keep soaring, but just chuck yourself on mute. So just make sure that you're getting good quality information there about what's actually going on. And let's have a look at lies, damn lies, and statistics. This is one of the reasons why, if anybody's got a cumulative sales graph for the sales pipeline, then I ask them to kill it. So let's look. If you look at the graph on the left, what you see is cumulated, confirmed cases cumulative count. Hockey stick straight up, frightening. Let's have a look at the one on the right. Guess what? We've actually had a drop in the rate of acceleration there in terms of confirmed cases. The first graph doesn't give the story, the second one does. Again, same thing we see here, right? If you look at the WA graph, you're thinking, oh, it's going up. If you actually have a look on the right, you can see that the rate of acceleration is starting to, it's still going up, but it's stabilizing a bit. You compare it to New South Wales, where they're still letting cruise ships into the port, because that's where it's coming from. It's overseas visitors are the people that are spreading it. There's just, and particularly if you're going to, be on a floating boat full of pestilence like a cruise ship is at the moment, that's the chances of you spreading it. And some pretty poor control in New South Wales has led to the real spread of all of this. Within all of this, what I want you to be thinking about is disaster scenario planning. This was the topic in the first webinar session that I delivered last week, and is coming up again very, very soon. For those of you that don't have it, I'm just going to see if I can, why can't I do that? What's happening here? Just looking to share this document with you. I'm going to have to get it to you separately because it's not allowing me for some reason to throw a document up in the chat, where I have been able to do that in the last couple of days. So this document here, the idea of it is to look at your scenario plan, and it's got a few parts. One is thinking about where you are now, so you can use any of the diagnostics, any of the reviews that we've done over the last period of time to think about the strengths of your business and where you're at, and those areas where you're feeling a bit exposed. Think about what your key challenges are. Think about what your key concerns, what's got you worried, and think about some opportunities. Then what you should do is think about different types of scenarios where we might be heading through all of this. Now, what happens with standard disaster scenario planning or risk management planning is you've got to think about the strengths and the health of your business first and foremost, but then you need to think about what are the likely scenarios that may play out. And we can pick low, medium, and high severity and impact scenarios, and a good way of thinking about that is using a PESTEL analysis. So PESTEL is looking at political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal frameworks and constructs, and what happens in each of those scenarios. I've got one to show you in a moment. Then think about what you then do under each scenario. Now, often what we do when we do the planning is we think about fairly minor risk. And what we don't necessarily like to confront and face is what happens if we have a scenario that plays out that's, medium severity or high severity, and how we cope with those. The reason why you want to do this is you want to think, well, what are my trigger points for taking action? If you think about the plane that landed in the Hudson River in the States. Basically, it took off and a flock of geese went through both of the jets at the same time, effectively took the power out while it was trying to take off and laden with fuel. When did they do the risk management planning to decide what they were going to do next? It was about 10 or 15 years before the plane took off. So the plan was already in place, handling those different scenarios and knowing exactly what you're going to do and when. What that means is you spend less time spinning the wheels and more time, you know, being back in control of your business and taking action. So then what you think about is your strategies under each of those circumstances. Hopefully that all makes sense to you. So you start off firstly thinking about where your business is. You know, look at the growth and profit diagnostic from my website. It's a good way of doing a review of that, and you're all familiar with that. Look at the key challenges you're facing, and a bunch of these things should be also in your one-page plans already. Think about your concerns and think about what opportunities we'll face, because there are going to be opportunities coming through around this. We're seeing some interesting and different business models that are occurring now. Then think about the pestle analysis, and here's an example. So when I first wrote this, I felt this was fairly alarmist, but since then it seems like a lot of it's coming to bear. So from a political point of view, Scott Morrison's got that delicate balance that he's playing between trying to keep the economy going and trying to, you know, think about what are the containment measures that should be in place. And we've had medical groups, so some 8,000 doctors have been lobbying for full lockdown. If you look at teachers, I saw a comment last night that a teacher had made, said, look, we're not babysitters for the economy. And so it's an interesting perspective there. From an economic point of view, you know, there's been supply chain interruptions across a lot of sectors. What I just want to ask here is, who here is maintaining a huge stash of toilet paper at home? Because I want to know where it's all gone. And I'm not sure if it's any of you guys, but like it's, Steve says nope, so we can't blame you. But I mean, what we're seeing though is that people, if they see something that's selling out on a shelf, they go and buy it like crazy, and that, you know, fuels that behaviour. So I popped into, yeah, Steve's saying pasta and sauce. I popped into my local IGA. Just to have a look around the store and see what was going on, and, you know, buying. There's loads of fruit and vegetables. There's loads of meat and chicken and all of that kind of stuff. And some of the areas that where they're struggling to keep up with, there's cleaning, you know, pasta, sauce, those quick meals, rice. There's still plenty of potatoes, which was interesting, and certainly toilet paper just seems to be non-existent as fast as they're trying to pull it in. But thinking about what also is going on is that if this keeps going, the stimulus package that's been put out has been trying to stop businesses failing, trying to stop suppliers failing. I think ASX will probably plunge to half of its January value, but let's just understand that, you know, there was around about 20% growth in the last year. So, you know, it's not as bad as what we think. In society, we might see some key people sick. Certainly, we're moving into a quarantined situation where now, you know, team members are working from home, and schools, universities are closed and going virtual, and schools are starting to move that way. The health system's not overwhelmed yet, but, you know, you can be assured that that's probably coming. But there's certain services that are still operating absolutely fine. So I've you know, contacted the radiology clinic about you know, getting an X-ray on my foot, and was able to book in easily, quickly, no particular wait. So, you know, there's things that are still going. Technology, we could see internet and telephony being overwhelmed. And interestingly, what I've found in the last week, there's been a couple of times when I've tried to ring people and the Optus network isn't coping, but it's not only Optus, Telstra's also been struggling as well. And we'll see with people, you know, homeschooling, working from home, getting bored and watching Netflix all day, we'll see a lot more internet use. Steve, are you seeing this with clients? Are you getting any feedback?
Oh, yeah.
From clients?
It's shocking. You know, the government's decision years ago to do a half job on this is really going to show just what a bad idea it was.
Yeah.
I've had quite a few Optus people in Optus call me this week and say, I've been trying to call your mobile and I can't, it won't go through. It's specifically from Optus. And so, yeah, it's like what you're saying, and it'll probably get worse.
Yeah. And the last scenario there is legal. So, I mean, what we'll see is, you know, we're still going to see what are called COVIDiots, those people that are being idiots in the threat of coronavirus, you know, and still going out and doing all of those things and potentially spreading. Or there might be some commercial unrest, and some people might be trying to seek court access during this time. I think this is one of the great things about SBDC and their mediation services, that there's some things that you can look at using. But the main thing around this has got to be thinking about continual communications with suppliers, your team, and so on, because, you know, everybody's in the same boat, and the more we communicate, the better we'll be. So you can then start thinking about strategies that you're then going to apply under each of those scenarios. Let's talk about government funding. So there's some funding around. The SBDC actually has a great link. When I was hunting around, they've actually got a great link which they're updating, which gives you details on what's available and the right links to either the ATO or Fair Work or wherever else around that. So please do take a look at that. I understand that if you're a small business owner with PAYG, that there's a minimum of 10 grand going to be coming back to you. There's the PAYG measures there. There's the instant asset write-off measures, accelerated depreciation, and so on, that are helping in terms of a tax front. Has anybody decided that they're going to just charge out and spend 150 grand on a new work vehicle or anything crazy like that? Has anybody been considering that?
How about a boat? Can I claim that?
Well, I don't know how that'll work. There might be a conflict as a potential new office. I don't know, Steve. But anyway, we'll see if we're living the dream there. So, you know, if you're typically paying yourself through drawings, think about paying yourself PAYG instead to access the tax credit there. There's a minimum rebate. Again, there's a couple of links there. And just in terms of the assets, it's new or second-hand, and that's I think is useful to know. But again, there's some time periods in terms of buying around that. Again, I think that's a kick to try and get things moving. How effective that'll be in terms of keeping the economy moving, I'm not sure. Steve's made happy in place.
Steve, yeah, you had to be PAYG by the 12th. So we're trying to do it. We're trying to backlog payroll, and now we're on payroll, but it's only a matter of chance. So unless you're registered for PAYG that date before, then you're pushing it.
Yeah,
that's where you lean on your accountant there. Hopefully.
Yeah, we are. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So thank you.
You can do it though. If you've got a legitimate case, my accountant thinks you stand a chance where you can prove that if you did turn over a profit, there should be no reason why you're not on PAYG. So it is a legitimate case, and it's hard to tell at this point, but you've got to jump on it quick. That's all. So,
yeah, I hadn't thought of it for myself. I was only thinking it for the staff member that I was going to taking on. So
yeah,
I'll speak to them about that. Thanks.
Yeah, cool. Teleconferencing. So I want to talk about that now. It seems like everywhere we go, there's now lots of people trying to help each other out in terms of using Zoom effectively. And I mean, there's lots of choices for teleconferencing. It used to be Skype, used to be the thing that everybody used. Then Microsoft bought them and did what Microsoft does.
Ruined it, yeah.
Thank you, Steve. I thought you were going to defend them in a minute.
No.
And then Skype for Business is actually a Microsoft product that is different to Skype and is much more rubbish. So, you know, those two products have tended to disappear away, and Zoom's much easier to use. I find Zoom's much more robust. It's much simpler. It's much quicker for people to access. I have used GoToMeeting and its brother product, GoToWebinar, before. They're just hard, old, clunky products. It's like comparing Salesforce to a modern CRM. They're just hard to use. I've also used Google Hangouts before, and Google is now providing some better, lower cost access, as is Zoom over the next period of time. So Zoom, you don't have to have the paid version of Zoom unless you're doing a group meeting to more than 3 people that is over 40 minutes. So I'm on the paid version of Zoom so that I can run this session. Sterling's got a paid version of Zoom as well to for the sessions that we're delivering there. So I find that Zoom handles low bandwidth a bit better. So one of the things that it allows you to do is when you do the calendar invite, when it works, and this is the first time today that I've sent an invite that hasn't worked, what it does do is it allows you to phone call in for audio. So people can put up with crappy video, they cannot put up with poor audio. And you'll see I'm wearing a headset here. This is the Jabra 40, I can't remember what the other details are. It was about $149 from Officeworks. Good quality sound is fantastic. And the other thing that's neat about this particular headset is that I can connect it into my phone as well. So this is a USB input. So I really recommend grabbing something like that. If you're operating from home, it's not necessarily so bad, but if you're in a bit of a noisy space, there's a bit of noise, what have you, in the background, having something like this is good. You know, alternatively, just get you can get just a good microphone and use that if you don't want a headset. So there you go. Now, I was going to put together some videos on how to use Zoom, and my coach, Russell Cummings, who you'll see in Mindshop and multiple bits and pieces, has beat me to the punch and already done it. He's not looking very well in these videos. He looks like he's about 10 years older than what he normally is. He's got a bit of the flu. Who knows? It could be corona. But he's got a few different good videos there that are pretty quick and pretty pragmatic on getting the best of Zoom. Anybody got any questions there? All good?
Yep.
Righto. So when you're using Zoom, you can hook that into your calendar, and you'll see here that you've got phone numbers that people can dial in so they can use their phone if they're in low bandwidth scenario, and just click on there. For most meetings, think about just using your standard meeting ID as being the common ID, so that way people know exactly where it is. I've used a unique ID for you guys because this is a unique meeting only for Momentum people. So just something to bear in mind. And as you can see, you know, I can move from being in my office to appearing to be in the Sterling Business Centre by changing your background. If you've got a banner, just throw it up behind you, or pick get a background mocked up. It just can give you that impression that you're working from somewhere better if you wish. So a few actions, like you get into the webinars. If you can't make it, just register anyways. Get access to the recordings, and get on top of your cash flow and consider impacts of, you know, what does that mean in terms of zero rent for 3 months and government subsidies and so on. I just thought I'd show you a few, and apologies, Louise, you've seen this already, but just a few different ideas that are around just to try and make sure we stimulate our creativity. So a virtual playgroup has emerged in Adelaide. It's gone from 0 to 3,300 members in a week. This is a few days old now, so I'm guessing that they've probably got a lot more. But one of the things that this playgroup is doing, which is interesting, is they're now actually commissioning musicians and entertainers to create content for the playgroup. So, you know, if you're a musician or an entertainer, you've been decimated in terms of your income. This is just something completely different, which is some people have put together. A short-term accommodation business has become an isolation pod company. This business was, finding short-term accommodation and was finding that their situation was going to put them completely out of business. So they changed their model and their thinking. Not a lot, but they're able to say, hey, look, if you've got to isolate, we'll bring you food, we'll organise Netflix, we'll get you entertainment, we'll make sure that you're all okay. And they're able to continue to press on and have the right cleaning in place. Yeah, so it's a clever idea. People are doing different things, like here's an example of somebody doing dance classes in lounge rooms, just something that's a bit again, a bit different. And in terms of different ideas as well, this is something that Lisa Smith and Vicky Hodgson have put together, called B Swap Shop, which is the idea of a bit like a barter card type arrangement where people can trade services with each other, and that's just got live. And I think Lisa was on ABC News yesterday morning talking about that. And different things. You probably know that I love playing a bit of guitar. Our jam session has turned into a virtual event, and Sean and Paul are looking at how they change the monetization of that in terms of providing virtual virtual guitar lessons and entertainment. So there's 20, 30 people tuning in and watching this and interacting with each other, and it's good fun to maintain the connection and effectively keep keep your practice up at home. Anna says they're visiting museums, space station, so many things for kids. Yeah, it's terrific. I normally catch up for dinner with my kids on a Tuesday night. This week, what we actually did is we just played games with each other, online games, which was actually a lot of fun. Here's the Sun Bookshop. What they're doing is they're delivering books to people's doors and just leaving them there. You buy the book, they'll wrap it up, deliver it to you. As you can see, they're taking care to make sure that the book's delivered clean. But again, it's just a different kind of service, and we've got to be thinking about how we can, as much as we can, deliver things virtual. Now, it's a bit hard to deliver electrical and contracting services or a new bathroom or a new renovation virtually, but one of the advantages that I think is in play there is if there's a lot less people in the workplace, then there might be some opportunities around maintenance and so on there. If people want a renovation done and they're going to be home, be able to isolate themselves a bit for a couple of weeks, and perhaps bathrooms and those sorts of things might be of interest. That said, there's certainly people that are going to pause on that, and I think what the message is that you want to be talking to those people that are in your pipeline at the moment who are just putting the pause button on, is that we're all going to get through this, and once we do get through this, there's going to be such a heap of pent-up demand. China's economy is rebounding quickly now that they've actually got through, and all of their cases of COVID seem to be, in terms of what's been generated from within China, have substantially reduced. Most of what they're dealing with in terms of cases now is expats that are returning back to China. So, it's interesting to see how that's happening. I think the US market's got a lot of pain to come. Trump, I think in the last couple of days was saying things like he hopes that loads of people get out to their local church for Easter and people get together and all that kind of stuff. So, I'm sorry for the Americans, but if you vote for that, that's what you get. There's some interesting products that are coming out. The luxury and trendy 2020 trend unisex protective hat, coronavirus anti-spitting protective hat dust cover. Just let me know if you want one of those. I'll do a bulk buy. I think that's an interesting product. I think this coronavirus cuff's a bit premature to be selling those in the US, but there's going to be lots of different things that are coming out there. There's also going to be a lot of scams as well. So just make sure that you're very careful in terms of messages that you're responding to, either text or emails. There will definitely be scammers out there at this time. Other thing to say is that if we go back and think about SARS and that, avian bird flu, What you mightn't be aware of is that SARS and bird flu are both flavours of coronavirus. And Alibaba was created in response to that because the Chinese market thought that they would just not be able to get products out in terms of what they were traditionally doing in terms of bulk, container and shipping. So they then created the Alibaba shop, and that has created tons and tons of import-export businesses as a result of that. So, so that was you know, an interesting thing to bear in mind, because lots of businesses have been created as a result of that. So there's definitely going to be some new opportunities that come out. What I suggest you do is, you know, again, we've got to think about what we can do. So one of the things that we can do is to think about, you know, our sales. And this is sometimes where looking at a sales analysis can be useful for those people that are going ongoing sales to existing customers. So Mike and Julie, this is probably most relevant for you. So starting by listing all your customers, think about what revenue they were doing in the last 12 months and seeing how they rank. What's useful there is that sometimes I find doing this exercise, sometimes it's a surprise. Normally most of the top customers are, we're not usually surprised, but usually there's one or two or three that are a bit of surprise in terms of being in the top customers. You then look at where is your Pareto principle applying, where are the 20% of the customers that are generating 80% of the revenue. Why is that important? Because that's where you want to be spending the love right now, and making sure that those customers are continuing to spend. Then think about what was the revenue in the past 12 months, you know, the prior 12 months, with the idea that you're looking at the changes. So you see in this example, you know, AB Works is spending more, Bedrock Drilling is spending less, Widget Makers are spending marginally less, and Acme is spending marginally less. So, you know, they're conversations to go and have with clients, or virtually have with clients, to understand what's changed. And then the other thing I like to do is think about different product lines. So if you've got multiple product lines, think about where that's where they're sitting. I did this with a company once, and as a result of doing this, there was a few things. One, there were several clients that didn't realize were spending so much, so they wanted to go and do some more touch with that. There were several clients that weren't spending as much, so they needed to go and do some communications around that. And there were some clients that just weren't using some of their product lines, and they definitely had a need, so there's an opportunity around there. On a $1 million turnover business, there was about 150 grand's worth of opportunities that were identified out of that, and it was a pretty quick exercise to do. So lead generation. How many leads do you need to close a sale? And that's not a joke, but in this circumstance. But do think about, you know, what is it that your typical rate of leads that you need? And right now, this list is from most effective to least effective in terms of activities. So sometimes what we want to do is we want to graduate to just using advertising and hope that'll push clients our way. But usually what we find is that's the most expensive way of getting clients, and typically the least effective. Direct one-on-one contact is the most effective option. What I do find is that many businesses, most businesses, just don't do enough of this, or have a good process for that. So if you're not making, you know, 5 calls a day, you should be doing at least that. If you're not doing that, you've got some capacity to do more. You've just got to have the outbound contact. And I think in this circumstance, what's fantastic is that it means that we can actually just get back to using the phone again. So jumping on the phone, being quick and effective, hi, just touching base, seeing how you're going. We've got a couple of things that we're doing around COVID-19. How are you finding things? We've got a couple of incentives. Here's what they are. Have you got a need? Do you know somebody that might? We're keeping our chin up and we're pressing on. You know, just doing a lot of that kind of contact. You'll find people that are keen to get on. You'll certainly find some that are down in the dumps, some that are trickling along and largely ineffective, and some that just want to get on and do. So do think about that. Networking's moving to virtual. As you know, I'm part of District 32, the North Perth group, and we ran our first virtual session last Thursday, which was really interesting. Good to be able to keep connecting with everybody, and as we're working our way through that process, it keeps everybody in touch, keeps people moving, and is positive. And out of that last meeting, I was able to pass on a couple of leads out of that, which was good. And there's some coming back my way as well. So do think about, if you're not doing that now, do. Steve is saying, I hope that Josh doesn't go to the bathroom. Yeah, well, I currently can't see the video of everybody, so I don't know what he's doing. So anyway, hopefully, I did see a video. I did see a video yesterday where somebody was doing a webinar, and somebody did go to the toilet in the middle of the session, and then the video was taken and shared with the world. So just be careful about what you're doing when you're webinaring. So I think networking's important. You've got to keep doing that. Referral building, lots of businesses build on referrals. We all love referrals. They're usually our lowest cost, better value sales, because there's trust involved there. So just think about who your referral partners are, who's sending you work. Keep in touch with them now. Make sure you've got a really good referral process. There's a 10-step referral process that's sitting in Mindshop. Have a look at that. Hit me up if you want any help to make sure that you've got a good referral process in place. I typically find that public speaking and webinars is a great way of demonstrating capability, and I often find that generates work for me, and I see that working for lots of people that are in that space. And you can record that, so you just simply you can use a tool like Zoom to record a webinar. There's plenty of others that you can use, but I find that this works really, really well. And then you can use other tools like on the Mac, ScreenFlow's a good one, and Camtasia for PC. There's been times, I haven't had the need to do it, but there's been times when people have done a webinar and got to the end of it and gone, oh hell, I forgot to record it. And my coach has done this, where he's then gone and re-recorded it using ScreenFlow, and then pretended that people are asking questions in the chat and effectively faking it to make it, but it just makes it a bit more interesting for people that are viewing later on. So that's something you can do. Keep writing, keep trying to generate publicity. Our Andy and Louise certainly try really hard to do some interesting and creative things and videos and all that kind of stuff on Facebook, and I know that Adam and Josh are all over this kind of stuff as well. Let's try and help each other and share all that stuff and like that stuff, because at the moment there's so much COVID-19 stuff that's showing around that getting this other stuff to present needs, we all need friends to like and share, and to push that stuff up and gives us a bit of chance. Promotional events are usually good for visibility. Okay, Yvonne, thank you. I'll catch you soon. Promotional events are good for visibility, but again, they are going to be changing over the next bit of time. So hopefully that gives you some useful stuff. Yeah, thanks. Yes, share around the nice work. Share around your Facebook links and so on. I'll share it all around on Mindshop. I'll send that around, and for those people that aren't on Mindshop, I think that's just you, Anna. I'll send you some links too. Let's really try and help each other through this time, spot leads for each other, and help each other grow, because we need to be coming out the other side of it. I'll send through a couple of those documents that are in there, and we'll go. Steve, yep, go for it.
I've got, apart from my break fix clients, I've got contract clients which are on various different contracts. And of course, a lot of those businesses are going to be kind of struggling a little bit. But at the same time, most of their contracts have got some maintenance hours, but they specify that project work is excluded from it. Mm. I mean, my normal self, obviously I've been doing a lot of work for people which is not considered to be maintenance, because it's setting up remote from home. And my normal nature is to say, well, I'm not going to charge them more because they're struggling. But my business nature says you're an idiot because, you know, you're spending the time, you should be charging the money. And I just wanted to have everybody's input into, you know, what they think of that.
I'll give you my 2 cents, and then anybody else can jump in if they wish. So your new man that's coming on, Jason. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, I put him back by a week now, but yes, that's correct.
Yep. Okay. So what I want you to think about with this is that every single one of those jobs, Jason's going to do it, and you have to make a profit on it. Price it accordingly. Now, you might think of your cost rate and his cost rate is different. And what I mean by that is that your opportunity cost of your time should be higher than his in your mind. But you know, let's for argument's sake say that, just for some really easy maths, let's say that you think that his hourly rate that you're paying him and the various on costs related to him mean that he costs you, say, $40 an hour or $50 an hour. You want to make sure that with every single one of those that you do, that you're accounting for a little bit of your time in terms of selling it, and then for him delivering it and any support. So it's probably going to be, what is it going to be, an hour or 2 hours? Or
yeah, say an hour. Yeah.
An hour, right? So if he's $50, and if you're charging him out at 150, you might then say, hey, look, this is a remote COVID package, you know, for a flat $125 we'll sort you out, or $150, or you know, whatever it is. But take the mindset that you are unable to do the work and that you need to price it accordingly.
Yeah, I mean, the thing for me is I've done a lot of this work. I mean, I've kept notes of it, and I have charged some, you know, break fix clients, and I do take notes of what work I've done for contract clients. But I'm just concerned about, like I said, on one hand, I think I should be invoicing them, but on the other hand, I kind of not sure if that seems like it's, you know, kicking someone when they're down, sort of thing.
Well, the other way of doing it is you offer a discount, or you take it out of the maintenance hours. What does everybody else think?
They don't.
They don't. Clearly, there's no dissenting opinions then. So that's good. Right, so I can see everybody's smiling faces again. I've got the video. Is there, who else has got some interesting challenges that they'd like to share around at the minute? I like the bathroom behind you, Adam. That's nice work. Everybody should be operating out of the bathroom if they look that good.
I'll give you photos of all of ours, mate. I'll get out of there. Look, nice. Look, toilet in wall.
Oh yeah, nice work. Louise is sitting there going, "Shit, I should have done that."
Yeah, it's free advertising.
Anna looks like she's living her life. She's outside. Oh, Steve having more fun. You're on the back of the boat. Yeah, cool. Andy's still out working.
And loving
Josh is asleep. Yeah,
Justin.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear me. I just want to do my 2 cents before I leave, guys, because I have to go to meet a client.
Yep.
It's hard. It's actually good that Sterling Business has given us this opportunity, giving us 3 months free rent, because that's a bonus for everyone. I think everyone's going to struggle for the next few months. But I think the likes of Mike and Yvonne, we went through the GFC in the UK and stuff, so I think we've seen them bad times, but not as bad as this.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm hoping that everyone will push through it, because it's not easy. Myself and Louise were struggling at the end of the day. We quoted for the month of February, like I said to you, and we quoted over $300,000 in jobs, and only one job has bit back, you know.
Mm.
But I'm just keeping positive. It's not easy, but
yeah,
it will blow over. And I think if everyone helps each other, like I said, referrals. If everyone just, like, obviously, like and sharing business pages is a must, I think, in this time.
Yeah, you certainly got to do that.
You know, but it's not going to be easy, like I said. But we're in a good centre, and we're surrounding ourselves with good people like yourself and everyone up there. So I'm at work today, and to listen to you there, it's just a nice little bonus again, you know, which is good.
Yeah, like when this is the bit where if there's a book I can recommend you all of you go get, it's Atomic Habits. It's a really good book about the little different things that you do every day and how that accumulates. So certainly go and have a look at that. Certainly go and have a look at apps like Smiling Mind and so on that you can get that are good positive inputs to you. But you just got to keep yourself accountability for your activity, right?
Can you write them into the chat and I'll take a screenshot of it because I'm just at work?
Yeah, sure. So hang on.
Yeah.
Atomic Habits.
I've written them down, Andy. It's okay.
Yeah, okay. So there, look at the teamwork.
Yeah.
And Louise, I gave you a bloody great big pep talk yesterday. How many calls did you make?
I made 2.
2?
Yeah.
Come on, I said 5, didn't I? Come on, got to go hard, right? So look, this is the time when you've got to, when the going gets tough, the tough have got to go and get marketing. And I've been finding that I've been ringing people and trying to put a positive spin on what's going on, which is not easy. I'm just looking at Josh there. I bloody hope he's not going to fall off that ladder because he looks like he's going hard on that wall. But this is where we've got to try and keep ourselves up and about. And this is why resources like with Sterling, that free rent means that you don't have to worry about you're trying to cut your costs there because it's cut. That means you can call me as much as you need, right? So do it. You've got Anna and you've got Malwena, both who are fantastic practitioners in their respective field. They can help you around mindset. Steve has been to see Malwena and had a great experience. And
hypnosis session, absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
I also wanted to say that I'm sure everyone's heard this, but letting you know about what happened with me is I rang my bank about my mortgage, and they just went, and I said, can we get? I'm self-employed. Can I get 2 months, lag on my mortgage? They went, we're doing 3 months. Here's a form.
Oh, brilliant.
So just so everyone, and I'm doing the same with my car finance as well. So you might as well take advantage of it if you can, and without costing you a fortune, and get as much cash held back within yourselves as you possibly can. Don't give it to someone else.
Yeah, thanks for those tips there, Anna. That's awesome. But yeah, that's really cool. So there are the different things like this, and if we just pop all of this stuff around and help each other, it just gives us collectively as a group and community together, we'll all get through, because everybody needs your businesses and they need your help. At the moment, people are frightened and they're just not spending. And so as a result of that, we've just got to try and keep calm, positive heads, because when you talk to someone and they're feeling flat and you're positive, it really helps. It helps them keep moving and keep going ahead. So just, I'm not being all rah-rah, but you've got to try and look at the positive and the upsides. Guess what? There's going to be a bunch of them. There's going to be some businesses that get through this and decide they don't want to be in business anymore and they want to sell. You can buy them at the right place, the right price. There's going to be some suppliers that are going to be doing deals to keep everybody afloat and to keep the customers afloat. There's going to be some suppliers that are prepared to take discounts to keep the cash moving for them. Which means which can be advantageous for you if you think that you're going to need product and service, etc., over the next 3 to 6 months, and you're going to be buying it anyway. You might be able to buy it more cost effectively. But also the 7 wastes tool, have a look at waste in your business and see where you can trim it as best as you possibly can. So any other thoughts, anybody, just before we close this out? Anybody got any good coronavirus jokes?
Somebody say something, please, just so we know you're alive. You should go around the room.
Yeah, okay.
Louise, go.
I'll just make sure that everybody's unmuted.
Okay, I heard a good one. It was, you have to think of the best Scottish accent, and so for a few Scottish people. So it was a call center, and they had to start working from home. So they said, sorry, to an irate customer, sorry, you can't speak to me manager, but I'll stick me down the phone for you. Oh, that was a good one.
That's brilliant. What have you got? Have you got anything, Anna?
Yeah. My body has absorbed so much soap and disinfectant lately that when I pee, it cleans the toilet.
Mike, what do you got? You got a good sense of humour. What have you got?
Prince Charles tests positive for coronavirus after eating an old bat.
So after eating what?
After eating an old bat. It's his missus.
Oh. Right, we got to keep the tone up. Josh, what do you got? You got a gag for us, man?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Well, I was really worried about you falling off that bloody ladder before, man. Like, you give that a real good go.
So, okay.
I haven't got any jokes, but I just want to say thanks to the Sterling Centre for honouring 3 months free, because that definitely has helped our cash flow tremendously.
Yeah.
And because we were considering potentially moving out for a little while in the interim, but it's definitely helped us out.
We're glad to help.
Yeah, that's awesome. Right, Adam, you must have a gag.
I would tell you, but you have to wait for 2 weeks to see if you got it.
Nice.
That's a universal one. Normally, it's pretty good.
Yeah, that works really well. Mal Wenner, have you got anything for us?
Well, the modern. What is that?
I'll tell you what, when you live near the vines, there's just, I don't know what happens when you move in the country out there.
There's more than Corona up there.
I saw a few good memes, like the there was a pic of it was entitled "The Corona Lisa," and it basically was a Mona Lisa with a gas mask had it on the front. There's COVIDiot, which is anybody that's got who's behaving like an idiot during the corona virus. And I've seen a few people doing some parody songs around around all of this.
Yeah, we're waiting for yours, Justin.
Yeah, well, the one I'm going to do a cover of Red Gums. I was only 19, and it'll be, so got the guitar sitting around there. I've been meaning to do that for a few days now, but I'll get that up and running. So yeah, people are doing interesting and different stuff. But just as I say, get on the bloody phone. Everybody's got to be calling everybody that they can, and just. You don't have to talk long. Just go, hi, how you doing? Just checking in, seeing out. What do you got for us now? The kid I hired to pick up the poop in our yard just realised we don't.
That's my favourite so far.
Oh, brilliant! Love it. The humour will get us. Through. Right, I don't have any more gags. That's pretty much all I've got. I'm sure I could look up a. I've never been good at telling a short joke. So, here we go again. What do we got now? Oh God, gross. Anyway,
I saw one. I haven't got it in front of me, but I saw one with. You might have seen it with the wife in the bathroom drying her hair, and she says to the husband, "Can you hand me the hairdryer?" And he hands her a gun. Like 2 weeks of self-isolation.
Well, I think what's going to happen is that there's going to be plenty of scenarios where people do funny and silly things because they forget the camera's on, or they realise they don't realise that they're not muted. So what have we got now?
Oh, there you go. Well done.
Day 7 in quarantine. Oh yeah.
Yeah, spontaneous corona memes. Well done, right?
So my partner last night did she did a virtual DJ session and she had a whole bunch of people in the UK that were dancing around, as well as a bunch of people here, and that was good fun. But there was some people I was madly trying to hit up on chat, going, just letting you know before you have a blazing row in front of everybody that you're not on mute, and managed to get this husband and wife to turn it to mute just in time. So anyway, there you go, all good fun. All right, guys, look, I'll let you get on. Everybody's got calls to make and stuff to do. Great to see you all. I'll send some of those resources around. Just try to communicate more often than not. Daily check-in, whatever works for you, just let me know, and just pick up the phone anytime if you want to have a natter. Lean on me at this time. We all need to lean on and help each other, and together we'll get through. So it's not a lot of fun, but I think what we'll find, what have we got now?
I should have paid more attention to my dog when she does it.
Yeah, absolutely. I could think of some funny gags. None of them are clean. But so I think we just need to just be chasing on, keep in touch, and let's get cracking. And as I say, we've got to double sales and contact efforts now. When we get through this, things will pick up. China's economy is starting to bounce now that they're largely through it. At the moment, it's like we're sitting waiting for the tidal wave to come and hit us, and so everybody's panicking. And it's not going to be easy, and there's going to be challenges around that. But I think that once it starts to wash over us and we start to see that people get it and don't die and all of that kind of stuff, then we're going to be we'll get through. Any last comments?
Good luck, everybody.
Yeah, get out there. I want everybody to message me and go, I made 5 sales calls before 5 o'clock.
Okay.
I can message you, no problem. I'll put it in my diary.
Well, I'm on call today, so I'm going to start on call now. So I try not to have too many COVID calls coming through Australia.
Yeah. But I think people just got anxiety, and they just need to understand. Unfortunately, most of our media is designed to fuel anxiety. And if you look at media in the US versus media in Canada, for example, there's much greater level of anxiety and fear mongering, I think, in terms of the media there, which is why you've got a bunch of people that are out trying to buy toilet paper, and you've got a bunch of other people out buying guns.
It's also leadership. That's what I think that it's missing, is leadership. We need it. People are going into fight or flight. That's why they go buy toilet paper. How many of us sat down and made a plan for what is going to happen? Sorry. Yep. So this is my calls coming in. Right, so it's about sitting down. Whatever you think, sit down, write it down, think about it before making a decision. That's the most important skill that we need now. Stop, think.
Yeah. Journaling, I find, is fantastic. If you're feeling like you're losing the plot a bit, scribbling in the journal is fantastic. All right, everybody. Sales calls to make. Get out there and crank it up.
Thank you.
See you.
All right.
Bye.
See you, everyone. Cheers.
Bye.